This is a review of a Twilight Zone episode that's about baseball. It's episode 25 of season 1, The Mighty Casey. What do you need if your baseball team is losing? What's the most important position for someone to play? Well, it would be pitcher, of course. A position I liked playing as a youth. I could throw the ball fast, but my accuracy was, well, not the best. In this case, to help this failing baseball team, they get a robot made as a pitcher. Oh, and also a really long opening narration.
What you're looking at is a ghost, once alive but now deceased. Once upon a time, it was a baseball stadium that housed a major league ball club known as the Hoboken Zephyrs. Now it houses nothing but memories, and a wind that stirs in the high grass of what was once an outfield. A wind that sometimes bears a faint ghostly resemblance to the roar of a crowd that once sat here. We're back in time now, when the Hoboken Zephyrs was still a part of the National League. And this mausoleum of memories was an honest-to-Pete stadium. But since this is strictly a story of make-believe, it has to start this way. Once upon a time in Hoboken, New Jersey, it was tryout day. No, he's not yet on the field. You're about to meet a most unusual fella. A left-handed pitcher named Casey.
Manager Mouth McGarry is the manager of the baseball team, the Zephyrs, and they're on a huge losing streak. And so a mad scientist, Dr. Stillman, brings in Casey, who's a robot. Now, we don't get to see how this robot is made, and it's obviously just a human being actor. We don't even get to see, seen some other episodes, his mechanical insides, him being put together, anything like that. So you're just supposed to believe he's a robot, but he can't throw the ball really fast. Now, the budget on this one is also way too ambitious. As much as this is about baseball, and we spend most of the time on the baseball diamond, we see very little action of them playing. And even Casey pitching himself only happens a couple times. I mean, there's maybe 2 minutes of actual baseball playing throughout this episode, because they're obviously renting out this baseball diamond when it's empty, but they don't have enough of a budget to fill a stadium and actually put on a real baseball game. So you get these weird cuts. Well, they'll use some footage from another movie that shows a full stadium. And then they'll cut to them obviously playing a little league field, throwing a baseball. It gets hit. Then it cuts to the game ending. It just seems like if you're going to do a baseball episode, at least get some tense moments where Casey is trying to strike someone out, someone steals third base, the catcher has to tag them, like anything like that. None of that happens during this episode, and this is one of the lowest rated ones, and I can absolutely see why. This is a legitimately bad episode. I've given a lot of these Twilight Zone episodes of season 1 a 5, because I think most of them are average, and then there's been some really excellent ones. We haven't gotten any really terrible ones, but I think this is maybe the worst one so far. You don't get much baseball. The robot itself doesn't do anything that's special. And then there's a super goofy scene where Casey gets beamed with the baseball. He gets hit in the head, taken to the hospital and then examined. And then the commissioners have to decide whether a robot can play baseball. I don't know if this is supposed to be funny or not, but it's just goofy. They eventually determine that after giving him a heart, he is allowed to play baseball. So they're allowing a robot to pitch. It's not really funny. Doesn't make much sense. They would never allow this, especially since it seems like this episode takes place in 1960. It's not like they're saying this is 100 years of the future and robots are playing sports. There's also no message here. Casey gets a heart, and because he has a heart, he doesn't want to throw strikes anymore and ends up being one of the worst pitchers because he doesn't want to actually have the other team lose because he has a heart. Not even a good message. I mean, this makes me want to watch like Bicentennial Man. That wasn't the best movie either, but at least we got to see the robot emotions Robin Williams went through. So the Mighty Casey is going to get a Mighty 2. I like baseball. It was my favorite sport growing up. I still watch it occasionally. So I was ready for some actual baseball action. And the idea of a robot pitcher, there's a lot of things you could do with that. But there's no antagonist. We don't know anything about these other teams. It's not like they have a rival team that they have to beat, and at the last moment the robot saves them, or maybe he fails. Nothing like that happens. He gets beamed. The commissioners think about taking him off the field, and then he gets a heart. I don't like it. And it seems like not many other people do like it as well. There are some famous actors in here, though. Jack Warden plays Mouth McGarry, who plays the role perfectly as a curmudgeon baseball coach. Who hasn't seen this guy out on the diamond? He was Juror 7 in 12 Angry Men, Harry Rosenfeld, and All the President's Men. And I remember seeing him in Bulworth as Eddie. He acted right up until the late 90s and died in 2006 at the age of 85. And a fun piece of trivia, Rod Serling, who wrote this episode, of course, wanted to have the Zephyrs called a real team, the Brooklyn Dodgers, but I'm sure they ran into problems using that name because it's a real baseball team. And the title does refer to the story Casey at the Bat. And the baseball scenes, some of them, were filmed at Wrigley Field, which you see a few shots of, but it's obviously they're using Wrigley Field at night when nobody's there. And only briefly, because some of these other shots are them just on a Little League field. They do have some aerial ones that are kind of nice. And actually got me wondering, are they actually going to shoot an entire baseball game? Are they going to fill up the stadium, even if they use some trick shots? And it's like, and as I figured, right in the middle, we get the troubled production of this episode. Yes, it looks like things went wrong. You look up the trivia and you go, things absolutely went wrong. I'll go over some of it. So the first tragic problem they ran into is that Paul Douglas was going to play the manager, the baseball coach, but he died the day after they finished shooting this episode, so they had to reshoot it. And CBS refused to finance any reshooting, so the production had to be footed by Kagan Productions, production company that makes Twilight Zone, at the cost of $27,000. And it says the other roles were not recast, and as much of the footage from the original filming was used as possible, which is why we get so many weird angles of the baseball diamond. I don't even think I'm speculating by saying that. It's telling us they had to reshoot a lot of this. So yeah, this is doomed to fail. One of the main characters died. They had to replace him. They had to reshoot the baseball scenes. They have Wrigley Field, and some of it is obviously not Wrigley Field. They can't patch together a baseball game. This was a disaster. But hey, at least we got an explanation. Next up is the very last episode of Season 1, Episode 36. And after that, I'm going to do a top 5 best and worst. Because man, this season goes on forever. 36 episodes in one season. Unbelievable. It's called A World of Zone. Written by Richard Matheson, and a much better episode about a guy who's able to make people appear and is trying to get his dream woman. Check out our playlist for the other series we've covered. We're doing every single episode of Twilight Zone, Black Mirror, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Started doing live streams under the live stream tab where I stream the series Monsters. I'll see you in a few days. Thanks a lot.